I know the Penn State issue has been talked to death. We've heard some great points from people like Desmond Howard, and we've also heard Lou Holtz make gurgling noises about how neato Joe Pa was. Penn State needed to have the NCAA step in and intervene. Notice, I didn't say Penn State deserved to be punished. I said they needed it. Penn State has known what happened at their university since November. When Joe Paterno was fired, the students rioted in a matter of minutes. It took them days to organize anything for the victims. A week after having damning evidence shown to the world in the Free Report, Penn State continued to try to hedge their bets and split the baby, plead for more time to decide what to do. Joe Pa still sits in the Penn State mural with a child abuse awareness ribbon on his chest, which is pretty much the same thing as having a Bin Laden mural in New York City with an American flag lapel pin. The Paterno family continues to release statements denying any wrongdoing and pointing the finger at anyone but Paterno. The fans of Penn State were, until yesterday, lining up around the block to take pictures with their golden calf statue and leave signs and flowers as a tribute to their undying loyalty to a cult of personality. Things had not changed at Penn State. Penn State had the same ideologue attitude it always had. They were going to do as little as possible for as long as possible. I still have not seen or heard an apology from Penn State official that wasn't framed with comments about how great Penn State is, how many lives they've touched, and how great the future is going to be for them. And the body of work argument is a stupid idea. In the legal system, if someone commits a heinous crime, we don't say, but other than the mass murder, they were a really good volunteer at the animal shelter. No, they get locked up, not just to punish, but to prevent the crime from happening again. Penn State was a personality cult to a man they thought was a god, but in reality, he wasn't even a good man. Like many cults, when the leader picks the wrong day for the end times and sets the building on fire, the cult members just go along with it. Why? Because by this time, their whole being is so tied to the crazy leader that they can't fathom an existence where that person isn't perfect. Penn State is going through this now. The fans are making insane and inflammatory statements. I had one Penn State fan tell me that he may go find some kids to abuse so he gets his money's worth. That kind of statement shows that the fans and alumni continue to have a total disregard for the victims and total misunderstanding of the seriousness of the situation. Penn State doesn't want to change. They want to play football. They are happy with their addiction. They have rejected the idea of voluntarily going to rehab. The NCAA sanctions lay the groundwork for court-ordered rehab. Penn State has forgotten that its primary role is that of an institution of learning. This kind of behavior would never have been acceptable in the chemistry department. If a dean of the chemistry department had done this, no one at Penn State would be coming to his defense. Of course, this would never have been covered up in the chemistry department because no dean of the chemistry department would be allowed to tell the president of a university what to do. Right now, all across America, sports writers are climbing up on their soapboxes to tell us that the NCAA is overstepping its bounds and punishing the innocent. This is Pandora's box, quote-unquote. How clever, using Pandora's box. That's why sports writers get paid the big money. They took 8th grade literature. Sports writers had been telling us for years that the NCAA was more limp than Tim Brando in the bedroom and was as useless. They said the NCAA was slow to act and overly bureaucratic. Well, here's the NCAA moving quickly, smoothly, and with purpose. And the sports writers are screaming that it's the end of college football. So, covering for child rape is not the end of football. But punishment for covering for child rape is. This white tower logic of, oh, but the innocents may be hurt is bull. You care about football and you want to make sure it's protected. That seems familiar. Sports writers love to exaggerate to sell papers. And, let's be honest, they're not selling many papers. They also love to tell us that they're smarter than the average fan. But perhaps this is one of those times that we should be realistic. In the end, it comes down to a few final points. What Sandusky did was horrible, and equally horrible was how Joe Paterno and Penn State's administration actively covered up his crimes for the benefit of a football team. A football team. Joe Paterno was not a kindly old man or a good guy. He was a selfish jerk who cared more about football than a child's life. Penn State doesn't want to change. They want to play football. They want to go back to the way things were. To not force a change at Penn State is to allow the culture of football first to continue. This is a football problem. You can't get much more football than it occurring in the showers of your football building. Penn State can come out of this changed for the better. Stronger, more focused, and overall a more quality institution. Coming out of this better is something that Jerry Sandusky's victims will never get to do.